Hi folks, as you can see by the title of the video, I am once again going to make a quick video about Brexit due to the unbelievable comments that I have had on the subject and how it is it that I find it absolutely unbelievable that there are still people repeating the same narratives and the same shit talk that we saw during the pandemic and during the entire Brexit business. Now, first of all, let's be absolutely clear about it. Trade, trade and traveling between the EU and the UK, it did not stop completely in the day that Brexit began to be implemented. And this is something people don't understand. They don't understand that the consequences of Brexit, they are unraveling right now. It started when it started. But it's not over yet. The consequences continue to happen each and every year as more and more services, as more and more international agencies remove themselves from the UK and install themselves in Europe. More and more international agencies are leaving the United Kingdom and they are setting up shop, so to speak, in the EU, inside of the EU, in different countries of the EU. And there are still a couple of EU agencies that were still operating inside of the UK, based on the UK. They are also leaving because this is something that is progressive, because you cannot simply, in one day, remove a business or an international agency from a country to install it in another one in 1 year or 2 years, sometimes even 3 years. Okay, these are things that take that time because they have to be done in a way that the business or the international agency or whatever, pardon me, or institution does not cease to work. Okay, this is something you have to understand, and you just have to go into the news. For example, there's this German guy, Mark, in Outside News. He has been reporting almost all the institutions that leave the UK for the EU, and even some businesses that leave the UK to go into the EU. If you want to learn something about it, I would suggest that you just type in your YouTube tab Outside News. The name of the guy is Mark. Okay, just go and watch his videos. Okay, he talks about it, and he's definitely much more thorough with it than me. That I'm just issuing opinions. I'm just talking about things. Okay, I'm not doing actual factual by the book reporting, so to speak. I'm not a reporter. Okay, the guy talking with you. That is who I am, and I continue to see these people, and they still have this. I don't know, 1920s version idea. I don't know how to call it. That just because there is a sign in a building and you enter in that building and there is a secretary in an office, that the head of the company is there and that the money is there, perhaps in some safe tucked away in the wall or some shit like that. They don't understand the notion that many times a company might even have its headquarters for tax reasons, for example, in the UK, but the places and the countries where they produce their wealth and pay their taxes from their activity, not of the business itself, it's in the EU. And this has happened to countless British companies. They still have their headquarters in the EU, in the UK, sorry, but they are producing inside of the EU. And they are paying for what they produce in the EU. Because unlike the United Kingdom, that allows people to make profits and siphon the money outside of the country, around here, no. No, no. Around here, you produce here, you pay your taxes up front. If you are in a European company, you can choose to pay your taxes uh, in your home country or here, or in the country you are operating in. But you pay taxes, and those taxes go into the coffers of the countries, and those taxes in the coffers they go into the common pot of contributions to the European Union. Okay, so no money is lost. But in the United Kingdom, they make obscene profits of their activity in the inside of the United Kingdom, and then you have people like Mr. Farage defending that if you tax them, then they will leave. Well, what is the difference? Oh, we have more jobs, we have more activity, we have more this, we have more that. Okay, okay, okay. They're not paying taxes. Okay, energy companies, water companies, great finance companies. Well, you do have the criminals and the Russian oligarchs buying up property in London. Yeah, but oh, you don't want to tax property, right? Yes, yes. And you don't want to tax inheritances. You don't want to tax absolutely anything. You want the billionaires to be so kind as to give some money back to the society. Okay, you want to trust in the kindness of their hearts. And then I have sorry, ignorant idiots or bots or trolls or agents talking this shit in my channel, in other channels. Okay, I I also mod in other channels and not just the channels that I have here below. Okay, talking this shit and defending these people and defending Brexit and defending all that has happened, all of the suffering, all of the destruction of the economy of a country. You have the gall to defend this. And I think to myself, where are these people born? How can you come into a comment section of a channel and waste your time and the time of the person that is producing that video and defend something that is undefensible? Everyone knows it was a mistake. If you waste your entire life discussing why it happened, we are going to be here for a long, long time. You either do, like other people did, that voted for it, and that then saw the mistake they have made, and they had the courage. I honor the courage of the people that said, this was a very bad idea. This was a horrible idea. And now they try to make up for their own mistakes. They try to correct themselves, and they don't wallow in that state of, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. No, they do something about it. No, instead of that, most of you go into comment sections to say shit like that when the GDP is measured by the amount of wealth that is brought in, produced in the country, but you forget the fact that the big finance companies and the big business, they continue to make their profits, and a lot of them are exiting stage right to the United Kingdom, that they are taking advantage of you, that they are milking your country for every last pound. You forget all about that. And you talk about migrants, you talk about little boats, you talk about grooming gangs, you talk about all of that shit instead of talking about the root cause of all of it, which is the complete and utter failure of the British state. Just like in the United States, that is also a complete and utter failure. And then you start to compare yourself to other countries. Other countries have their issues too. Portugal has its issues. Spain has its issues. France, Denmark, the Netherlands, Germany, absolutely every country has their issues. But there's one thing people in all of these countries do. They don't try to take decisions that will damage their countries. Whenever they are discussing, for example, EU memberships, when they are discussing, are we really right of being in it? Okay? They are always considering their own interests, the interest of their people. Even a crazy person, in my opinion, and I don't mean this as an offense, like Mrs. Le Pen, even she, whenever she's trying to implement a certain number of policies, she's not thinking solely about her own personal interests that she is also thinking of. She's thinking about the interests of her fellow countrymen. Even a lot of dumbasses that we have here, right here in Portugal, and that are in the parliament, even they, when they are discussing things, they are trying to create better conditions for people. Some of them want to create it in a certain form. They want to blame this group or blame that group, whatever. But there's always that ultimate goal of trying to make the country a better place. Maybe it's a place that is more far right, more far left, whatever. But there's that root cause behind it. And you have people in the United Kingdom that they are living solely to line their pockets with money. You trust in someone like Nigel Farage. You trust in that man. After all that he said about Brexit, about all he defended, you tolerate the Tories speaking that shit in the parliament. You tolerate Labour not doing what they should have been done doing day one when they reached power, which was to try and progressively repair their relationship with Europe, so that in the future the UK might be a part of the club again. You have all of these people, and you sit idly in your little rooms and you talk shit about the EU, you talk shit about people like me that are making these channels just to speak out with other people, just to try and make people to think. Call me a crusader, call me whatever the hell you want, call me a dumb asshole. Okay, say that you don't like me. I don't care, but you will never call me a liar because I don't lie. I am honest. If I am mistaken, I will correct myself. I will say I was wrong. I just made a video to make completely clear what my position about the BBC was. Because I think I needed to make that video so people would understand my position and the sense of my words. Because as you can see, English is not my native language, my friends. I'm only speaking in English because this way anyone can understand me. Je pourrais parler en français, mais qui me comprend? Und ich kann in Deutschen sprechen. Also. Und can an American understand me when I'm speaking German? Maybe some. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that sometimes when you hear me speak, go to the context of the words and the subject that I'm talking about. And as you go for me, you go for other content creators. Because many of them, they are only using English because it's a very accessible way of communicating with other people. I have friends in Japan and we communicate in English. Okay. I have friends, people I talk with, but I call them friends, okay, in Germany, in the United States, and we communicate in English. With the German ones, sometimes we speak in German, or or rather, since my vocabulary is right now a bit scheiße, a bit low. Reason why I'm refurbishing my German also while I'm learning some Japanese and some Mandarin. Okay, sorry, but sometimes I tell them, look, speak in German, I understand you. Okay, or speak in French and I will understand you. I will answer in English, but we will understand each other. And to come into a comment section and say, what do you know? You don't even know how to speak English and shit like that. You waste your time and my time trying to get an emotional reaction out of me that you won't have because I simply look. You wanna know what I'm being doing to all those type of comments? I just delete them. I don't care. I don't care. You think I'm going to leave your smart ass comment just for getting the views or the comments or whatever in the YouTube algorithm? Do you really think I'm here for that? No. I work every day of the week for my pay. And if this channel is ever monetized, I will never compromise my own integrity, my own opinions, my way of seeing things black and white. I don't see gray areas. Okay, I'm not that type of person because there is no black and white. Okay, there is just one way. Things are as they are. Opinions, everyone has it. Okay, if I want to quote my grandfather, I would say opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. Okay, so stop thinking in that way. And and then you come here and you discuss Brexit, saying it's very good. When each and every day I watch videos, I read reports of small companies in the United Kingdom telling how their business is being ruined, telling how their ability to export to Europe, to buy from Europe, is being compromised. How they do not have neither support, neither enough funds to export farther away. How they are, how it's so hard to travel to Europe, for example. How it's so hard to have a residence permit in Europe, for example. How it's so hard to get the equivalences of special of expertise that you have in the United Kingdom, how it's so hard to get them recognized inside of the EU. How how you cannot repair European airplanes in the United Kingdom because your expertise are not recognized. How your pilots have to be recognized as pilots in the EU to be able to fly here. I see all of these things. Okay, I see all of this thing. I see how hard it is to import seeds that you need, how hard it is to sell products from the United Kingdom to Europe, how easy it was to do that, and how hard it is now. And then you come around and you say Brexit was a success, sovereignty. Well, eat sovereignty. Eat a nice, wrap it all up in the St. George flag and shove it up your ass. Sovereignty means the ability of your country to have influence, of feeding your people, of trading with other countries, of defending your interests. How can you defend your interests in Europe right now? What would stop the EU tomorrow to say, for example, all cars that come from the United Kingdom that enter in the EU, they have to be painted red? What would you do about it? Nothing. Do you understand that? Is this a metaphor that you can understand? Is this clear enough? Or are you going to talk about bendy bananas, about outlets, about, I don't know, okay, about keepers in ice? Are we really going to talk about this? Are we going to talk about you punishing us? Are we really going to talk about this? Are you going to go back into that narrative that everyone knows it's over and done? And yet you are still attacking labor whenever they do anything that might end your Brexit freedoms. What fucking freedoms do you mean? Oh, now we don't need to listen to bureaucrats in Europe. Well, my friend, before your bureaucrats were with the other bureaucrats, as you call them, in the EU deciding things. And right now, you are taking orders from someone across the pond in the United States. You are taking orders for someone in some Arab state that's investing in your country. You are taking orders from the EU. You are taking orders from absolutely everyone. You want to know why? Because in numbers there is strength. In numbers there is strength. Europe is strong as long as we are united. And this is why, until my last breath, I'm going to be defending the EU. Because I saw what it did to my country. I saw the practical effects of the EU in my country. I saw perhaps what you guys failed to see. And if this video is not clear enough for you to understand my position, then you are mentally retarded. You have some issue in your comprehension of the world and of the words. Because I think my English is rather clear. I try to break my accent, because or else I would fall into an accent like this. Because when I was learning German, I was learning English. So you might understand how this is confusing in my head. But I try. I try to be clear. I try to speak clearly to people. I try to measure my words for you to understand me. And you understand this. Brexit was the worst thing the UK could have done to its people, to its business, and to its economy. And it was all caused by a bunch of old rich people sitting in the city that did not want anyone to tax their profits, that did not want anyone to question them siphing their wealth that they create in the United Kingdom, to get that wealth and to send it to some fiscal paradise and enjoy their profit, and to have their inheritance not taxed, and to have their property not taxed. This is the real truth here. This is the truth of Brexit. You want to know what is the root cause of Brexit? Greed and corruption. And you all fell into that good old song of corruption. No, like rats following the flutist of Hamelin. If you don't know that story, go read it. You might learn something. It speaks millions about the situation of the United Kingdom. And you still support a person like Farage. You still support all of these people that were responsible for what happened to your country, you still support them all. What are you? No. How can anyone respect your opinions when you are still defending those people? The Scottish did not want to leave the EU. The Scots want to be independent. They want to get rid of you. Okay? Brexit, in my opinion, might be the trigger to dismantling the United Kingdom altogether. It might happen. Unless there's some more compromise to give more autonomy, more more independence to Scotland. If this does not progress that way, I don't see a good future for the United Kingdom. And I don't blame the Scots. Scots have a million reasons to detest Westminster, as they call them. They have a million reasons to detest it. And I'm certain there are a lot of Scottish people that are proud citizens of a United Kingdom. I'm certain of it. I don't understand it, but I'm certain of it. And I say even them, after this entire cover-up of Brexit, they're questioning it. And also in Wales, and also in Northern Ireland. How long do you think it will take for all of those orange flag shaggers in Northern Ireland to be dissipated just by the passing of time, and for Northern Ireland to return where it should be with the rest of Ireland? How long do you think that will last? Have you seen the demographics? Have you seen the political reports? Have you seen the economical reports? Do you understand the situation? Do I have to spell it out to you? Do I have to say Custer? If you don't know this expression, go look it up. You have to look at facts. You cannot look at narratives. If you fall into the narrative, you will fail to see the facts. Emotions are terrible, terrible advices. Whenever you start to feel emotional about something, you have to roll back to the facts. Because if you let your emotions guide your actions, you will fail. You will fail. Okay? It's like instead of opening a door, you run up to the door and you try to knock the door down. It doesn't work. It does not work. So before you make these shitty comments, okay, think about what you are saying. And don't try, at least in my case, don't try to annoy or to rally an emotion out of me, because I will not argue with you. I refuse to argue with people that have no arguments. If you tell me, for example, that Brexit could have worked if we have done this and done that, and you tell me your opinion, I will accept it. I will not agree with you. Maybe I don't even answer you. Okay, I try to answer all comments, but I have no issues with that. But to use illogical reasons and lies and narratives instead of facts to discuss an idea and an opinion, that is completely ludicrous. You know, one of the traits of insanity is to repeat the same mistake over and over and over again. To do exactly the same, to have exactly the same behavior and expect a different result. To hit your head in the wall uh, repeatedly, expecting the wall one day to fall. It won't fall. You will break your head and you will die. Look, if you have been fooled by this entire rhetoric of what these people are telling you, it's never too late to recant yourself, and to correct yourself. There is absolutely no shame in being wrong and correcting yourself. I do it constantly, and I have absolutely no shame or no issues with it. I would have issues to persist in a lie, to persist in an error that I know that I'm wrong, and I keep going at it. That would shame me. But to have committed a mistake and then to correct myself, where is the shame? Where is that emotion? That's emotions, okay? You have to be factual about things. You have to leave emotions behind, okay? I'm sometimes it's like when you're in traffic, you are driving your car traffic. You are driving in your car, and then some asshole cuts you off or does some shit. Okay, you are angry in that moment, but after that you have to let it go. Okay, because there is no, you won't be able to repair the offense that they did to you. And you that voted for Brexit, okay, the only way for you to solve this is to look at that current situation and say, this is shit. And that guy is still here. He told me to vote for this shit. What the hell is he doing on TV? What the hell is he doing owning a political party? Kick him out. Don't vote in that bastard. He defended this, and now he's telling me something different. Now he's telling me, oh, they did not do the Brexit. For God's sake, no one can be this stupid. No one can be this ignorant, and no one can be this unable, this way unable to reason and to connect dots. Follow the money trail. Who has been benefited by Brexit? Have you? Have you earned anything from Brexit? Oh, I have my sovereignty. Okay, okay. How much money does that bring you at the end of the month? Are you able to feed your kids with sovereignty? Are you able to feed yourself with sovereignty? Are you able to have lower energy and food prices with Brexit in your sovereignty? For God's sake, be reasonable. Okay, I'm also a guy that has a lot of pride and that sometimes finds it hard to say that you are wrong. In that aspect, I'm very Portuguese. Okay, pride is our capital sin. But I have the common sense and the pragmatism to correct myself when I'm wrong. And I will always do it. Okay? Now, uh, thank you all for listening to my video. I'm sorry if any of my words offended you. That is the reason why I have a disclaimer in my video, so that when you come here to listen to me, you will understand that sometimes I will swear, sometimes I will talk about topics that might disturb some people, that I might say words that you might find offensive, but this is the way I am. Honest, for better and for worse. Thank you all for listening to me, and